Hi, welcome to our Folkloric Symbol Show. On this show, we talk about symbols that we use to educate ourselves on who we are. We talk about our religion, our culture, and our basic social norms around us. So we use symbols in telling you because they depict what we actually are. My name is Bilkis Jiwa, and we are doing this in collaboration with the National Folklore Board. And you know what? Stick and stay with us and we'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to our Folkloric Symbol Show. My name is Bilkis Jiwa, as I said earlier. Well, people say that onions make people cry, but they have never seen any vegetable that make people laugh. Wondering why I'm using onions today? Today, our symbol is from the Volta region, and they call symbols desiwu. Desi, I hope I got that right, but they call symbol desiwu. My guest will help us talk about so that. Sabala is what others call onion, and it's a symbol of tolerance, coexistence, and individualism. Have you realized the paradox and all that within there? It's individualism, it's coexistence, and it's tolerance. So we have in our studio today a very beautiful lady who is she's so young, and it's kind of funny that you have such a young, beautiful lady so much interested in our symbols, and especially where she's coming from. She's taking the time to know a lot about the symbols of the Volta region. Her name is Adenya, and she's going to help us talk about sabala. Why onion, a vegetable, onion for that matter, will be a symbol for coexistence, tolerance, and individualism. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Adenya, welcome to our studios.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. Why onion, first of all?
Okay, why onion? There is nobody in the world who has never had onion in his or her dish. I think, unless it's rare, unless a medical condition. So most of the symbols we have around us are about things around us, and the every symbols is no exception. And every symbol is called JC, singular, and JCO is plural. So the onion is a very, very popular vegetable in the Volta region, especially the swamp areas. Have a lot of shallots. Yes, so it's one of the dominant symbols that we have, and it's from the proverb "Sabale no go gake moleme." Okay. The onion is rounded, but it is layered, or there are spaces in between them. So the symbol helps us to understand that even as the onion is layered, when you take the onion, it's very layered. And is this every layer that composes to form the onion? If you have just one layer, it's nice. You can put it in a meal, but it can't stay forever as one. It will be shriveled. It can't last longer. And for it to be able to work together, it's like in a ball. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so you were saying that due to the nature of onion, the fact that it's layered and all that, that's why Evers picked up that vegetable to represent what the value system they call coexistence or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the value of coexistence? What do you people call coexistence? What is it?
Okay, so Evers are people that they are a large number of people, but they live in clans. They live in small village called coffee, like we call it coffee, like village, all of those things. And so maybe they have their families, they are together. Sometimes in our society, they always don't like problems. They want to be on their own and all those things. But when an issue comes, realize that they come together as one. Okay, that's why they'll be like, if you talk bad against one area, they'll gang up against you or something. So it tells us that we as individuals, you have our individual traits, our strengths and our weaknesses. That makes us as individuals. When we come into a community, we still have that our individual composition. So you are different, I'm different. Okay, I don't have to force you to be me.
Okay, so that talks about the individual part of it.
Yeah, and so sometimes we think that when we come together, we need to be the same person, we need the same people. As Ghanaians, we think that Ghanaians have to look a certain way, either dark and short, or stout, or something. But Ghanaians are a beautiful composition of different people. And so, just like the onion, we come together amidst our individual traits, our individual ethnic groups, and we come together and form a nation called Ghana.
Okay.
So you see that Ewes are in a community. Sometimes you don't even realize that the person is an Ewe until you get very close.
All right.
Because they can speak multiple languages. They kind of adjust easily. Because you can't just say, okay, I'm here and I'm on my own and all those things. Kind of coexist together with other people in communities, and they help people. When you're in a Muslim community, think the person is a Muslim. Even though some of the others are Muslims, but sometimes I think that's a Muslim. If you reach a Gang community, think he or she's a Gang, and they can speak, usually they can speak other languages without accent. So the person is speaking, think that, and we tolerate each other.
Unity in diversity.
Yeah, unity in diversity.
That's
the fact that you're different doesn't mean that we're like, oh, what you're doing is because it's not like what I do, so it's not good. But we are taught to tolerate each other. Even though we are different, bring what you have, bring your difference, and let's come together.
Also, this is more like the system of Ubuntu.
Yeah.
In Southern Africa and a lot of those areas. So you are because I am. So regardless of our individual differences, we still can come together and be one people and when the time is needed.
And then and then when we come together, we create a very formidable force.
Okay.
Because there are situations where you alone cannot do it. And sometimes it can be on an individual exploit for your own personal something. But there are situations which calls for that kind of unity. And that bring your diverse opinions, bring your diverse strengths.
Okay.
And where you are weak, somebody will be strong.
Will be strong to hold you.
Yeah.
Wow. Can you tell me, you know, the little history we know about the Ewe people, especially where they are coming from, the origin, you know, we all know that everybody in this part of the world came from somewhere. Nobody originated or germinated from any soil here or evolved from any part or from any ape here. We all came from somewhere up there, which, you know, I wouldn't want to go into. So the Gans, for instance, say they come from Israel. Some parts of the Ashantis, some people say they are from the Chadian area. Where is the Ewe people coming from?
So there is a popular music called Educator. Yeah, and realize that most, especially for the Gans and the Ewes, we have a common stock from Israel to Egypt, through to Ethiopia, then through to Togo, like Nigeria, through to Togo to Benin. And sometimes people think that, oh, we all want to trace our root to Israel because we want the Judaism and all those things, we want to be the chosen people. But you can't deny history. And for me, it's like taking me, for example, my surname is Morty. And you can trace my surname to Ethiopia. And they are, there are people in Ethiopia called Mortys. And they're also from a royal family, like I am from a royal family. And so in my hometown...
Don't you think it gives credence to Israel? Yes. The fact that we originated from them because...
Yeah, because every time we hear about the general thing, so I think this is a great opportunity for me to give myself as an example, a case study that is true. And sometimes some people ask me, are you from Ghana? And then some days I look at pictures of Ethiopians and it looks like, okay, it's like I look like them.
Like that,
Yes. And it's not everything the Africans have to look dark or something, but the color black is composed of
different colors.
Yes, different tones and hues. Yes, so I'm a proud African, even though I'm fair.
Okay.
Yes. So in my hometown where the Fajato is Lady Gbagame.
Okay.
We have a festival with another town, which I can't remember right now.
Okay.
Because that festival traces our roots to Ethiopia. So it celebrates our movement or migration from Ethiopia to our present home.
Okay.
And, yeah. So that's
you think that your people are from the in Ethiopia?
Yes, and then we trace to Egypt and then to Israel.
Okay.
Yes, but, so that kind of common.
Okay. Okay, some other research or schools of thought also believe that you are from the stock of Oyo people.
So we moved together, like Yoruba.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we realized that cultures, even with the Gans, our cultures had like similarities. So we have a lot of, give a lot of power, society gives a lot of power to the chief priest. Yes. So we have the chief priest who has a lot of power in our communities.
Okay, so originally you were led by chief priest, or you always had
the kings
and, you know, because Fantis, for instance, were originally led by priests. Obunuman Kuma or Dapejan and also were priests. They were not really, were the priests, and they were also Asafo people, I believe. And the Gans were also originally led by priests. The Wulome were the people who led them to their present settlements. Did the Evers also have something like that?
Yes, Evers also had priests leading them, but not really to their present settlement. They had, you know, we had the King Agokoli. Yeah. So they reached a point.
Agokoli actually is the most popular.
Yeah. But sometimes there is a positive of him and a negative of him.
Okay, so what's the positive of him? Because we've heard all the negative of him.
Because there's history that says that it was more of a rival group that kind of, they thought that they had killed the son of a king of a rival, like, community. And so they asked for the head of also the son of King Agokoli. And so he thought that the child of the king, the other king was dead. So he had to give it out for peace to reign. Okay. But later on, it was realized that that child was hidden. He was not dead. Even though he was wounded, he wasn't dead. So later on, King Agokoli realized that no, it was a scam. Okay. And so he got angry and all those things.
So
because
whatever he did was a reaction.
More of a reaction.
Interesting. So some people actually annoyed him.
That kind of,
and decided to
the other side
get
of
back at them.
Yeah.
And then they moved.
Yeah.
And that's how we got Agbaja.
Yeah, the Agbaja.
Isn't it? That's very interesting. But you know, let's get back to onion, right? I don't know much of the history that you know of the onion, but I mean, looking at I mean, you hold it in high esteem, the fact that you even grow it and all that. But are there any spiritual parts of onions to you?
The onions were thought to have been brought by the Portuguese. So the tabala is called sabolai. Like,
okay, gas.
Yeah, more of the similar to the gas.
Also, sabolai is Portuguese language?
Yes, that's what I know what was brought. With the spiritual means, I know some people use it to ward off evil and all those things, because but also about the scientific, it has the antibiotics, yeah, that kind of thing. But anything you believe in works for you.
Oh, you believe so?
Yeah.
Okay. So you believe that we actually confer that spirituality to it or something? Because you know that the Egyptian, I mean, looking at Egyptian history, the Egyptians buried their pharaohs, processed their bodies with onion, even buried them with onion because they believed that it was of evil. Don't know whether you heard of that?
Yeah, I've heard of that. But also about, apart from the spiritual, to look at the scientific, it's a spice.
Okay.
Yes, so more of preservation and all those things.
That's interesting. And actually, they also worshipped onions.
Wow.
Egyptians also worshipped onions. So if we should trace the history of, we are all Nubians, right?
Yeah.
So if we should trace the history of maybe the Evers from Ethiopia to here and all that, there could be a possibility that we were actually from Egypt where we entered into Ethiopia.
There is not really a possibility, it's a truth. Yes.
Okay.
And then sometimes as I research, you reach a point, I reach my aha moment, like, oh, okay. Yeah. So there's not much coincidence in our way of life. There's not much coincidence in things. As we learn more of our ancestors, we get those aha moments. And sometimes even we think that Christianity is against, or Christianity is so opposite our culture. And so we think that when we become Christians or Muslims, we need to let go of our cultures. But no, when we understand our culture so much, and we understand our religion, whether it's traditional or Christian or Muslim, realize that that interrelation is there. And even for me, as a Christian, the more I learn about my culture and my ancestors, it makes me become a better Christian. It makes me also appreciate my culture more. Yeah, so I don't feel conflicted anyway.
In any way?
No.
Yeah, but when it comes to the issues of religion in terms of spiritual, lesser worship of lesser gods and all that, don't you think there's a conflict there? Because of course you have Mau, you have Lisa, you have all those other gods that come with them. So how do you marry that?
So in every culture, in every philosophy and spirituality, we believe we have Mau Symbolisa or Mau Lisa. And the Mau is a female god and the Lisa is a male. And in my kind of Christianity, there is a belief that we have a heavenly mother and a heavenly father. Yes. So I don't feel conflicted in that regard. We have angels in Christianity who kind of are intermediary between us and God, who kind of are servants. Yes. And those are what also the lesser gods, that kind of parallel.
Yeah, but some people will tell you that regardless of the religion, the Abrahamic religion that an Ewe is practicing, the Ewe will still go back to where it's coming from, where you do something to them. How true is that? And maybe you can use this platform to demystify that.
There's truth everywhere.
There is truth everywhere.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think that's just my answer. Yeah. The fact that I don't want to say the fact that you're a Christian doesn't mean that what your ancestors believe in don't work. It worked for them. And that's their way of communicating with God or the Supreme Being. Okay. So if I go to my hometown and they say I shouldn't pass here, I won't pass. That's the same way if I go to a mosque or I go to a church and they say that this place is preserved for this thing, don't go.
Okay.
I don't go. It's about respect.
Okay.
Yeah, so God loves, the Supreme Being loves each and every one of us. Whether we are Christian, or whether we are Muslims, whether we are traditional worshippers. He wants to speak with us. So whatever form we believe and then we feel inspired or revealed to us, we will use that form until we have the fullness of everything. Yes, so don't, in a way, say, don't try somebody. Yes.
Okay. So in terms of, so let's get back to the values of Sabbath life, for instance. So in terms of individualism, at least you know that each person is coming from a family. What is the standard value that is instilled in an Ewe child?
To respect. I see to respect a lot about other cultures, and to know that you are a being in every. They said for you to be, if you say you are somebody, society, you are a moral person, society. They'll say agbelasio, okay. Agbe means you have life. Okay. So if you are not morally good, it means you are not a human being. So the standard is that she be morally upright as an ever person.
Okay, hold on to that thought. We'll be right back on the moral issue. Welcome back. Today we are talking about Sabala. It's a symbol. It's a jersey in the ever tradition, and we have Adenya in the studio. And we're actually talking about the morals that is instilled in a particular ever child, in a traditional ever home. I mean, the symbol talks about individualism and all that, and we know that every individual is from a family. I mean, that's basic, especially in this part of our world. So Adenya, you were talking about the moral stuff. Yeah.
So there are a lot of morals that are taught. But I think one of the most prominent one is respect. Respect for our elders. Okay. And respect for other people, other opinions, and respect for the individual. There is a symbol that is like the carry. That agaga lolo, the kame for agaga. So the thing of a very big carry cannot buy things worth of 2 carries, 2 small carries. So no matter the wealth of somebody, no matter the social status of people, we are all unique. We all should be respected. Yes. Okay. So that's why you see, like, mostly we respect other people, and I think it's a Ghanaian thing. Respect is a Ghanaian thing.
Are you also pushed out to, you know, go out and, you know, bring in something home? Because everywhere you go to, you see a huge group of ever people everywhere. So you go to Accra here, you know, there's Agbe Town. You go to Kumasi, there's Anglaga Junction. You go to other places and you have some kind of concentration of evers there all the time. What is it?
I think it's because of our artistic skills. Yes, and apart from artistic skills, also it's about that's our hard skills. Our soft skills about our ability to coexist with other people.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so we are really sought after. Yeah, so. Because like the KT, like this is the ever KT, so they also always dispute about where the origin is. Today is not a discussion for that.
So that will be on another discussion. Yes. Actually, I'll ask you about that.
Sure. So they move around and then they go and teach the skills other people and offer those skills. Yes. So and then Ghana, we have people from other places also come around. But your observation is great. We have Adenya town in Eastern region. My namesake is in Eastern region. So
what's the meaning?
Adenya. Okay, Adenya is my middle name, and it says my dad says that it means it's words of the tongue. So it says that the negative words of people will not work against me.
Interesting.
Yeah, but there's also but there's also another meaning, alternative meaning that means the tongue knows.
Okay.
Adenya.
Okay. The tongue knows. That's very interesting. Having to name you, the tongue knows. No wonder she's doing great jobs with what she knows with her tongue. And she's been such a resource to Ghana. Actually, she was the person that advocated for the use of Jesse in the just ended 6 March celebrations in the Volta region. She's a huge resource. She's small but big and all that. So I mean, we've been talking about Sabala.
And coincidentally, that was a symbol that was used in the Independence Day celebration.
Exactly. Yeah. So Sabala that we are even discussing today was used in the. So you can go back and check the design for the 65th anniversary, right? 66th anniversary of Ghana's independence. That was what was used. Sabala talks about individualism, but also talks about coexistence. So the onion, when you look at it, it has a lot of lessons it's telling you. And the Evers picked it, and they are using it to tell us that regardless of how unique we are also supposed to be united in whatever we do. Ubuntu, that's what the South Africans normally say. I mean, you are because I am. We are individuals, we are also a united front. So we don't need to, you know, try to, our culture is telling us a lot, so we don't need to try to, you know, destroy ourselves with our own biased thoughts about people. We need to be open-minded to know people. With that, we'll get to know a lot more about them and then learn how to live with them in a very beautiful way. So we are actually sponsored by Downwell Insurance, and we are doing this in collaboration with the National Folklore Board. Our folkloric symbols will be right back with you. So my name is Belkis Jiwa. So we are back and we are going to talk about the proverb for today. And the proverb for today is in Eve. Let's go and see the proverb. Ati deka me wona avio. Ati deka me wona avio. A single tree does not form a forest. How interesting. It's so much into our discussion. Tell me about that proverb.
Yeah, so a single tree cannot make a forest. Mm-hmm. So looking at the forestry aspects, we know that every time we are doing green Ghana, because we want to have a lot of forests and then to preserve our ecosystem and all those things. But also comes to us as a community, a society, okay, that an individual cannot make a community, an individual cannot make a society. We come together, and sometimes the roots even tap from each other and support each other. So if you have one tree in a forest, it can fall when the wind comes blowing.
Okay.
But when there are many, they support each other.
Okay.
So even as a society, we need to support each other, yeah, with our strengths, and we'll make a great nation.
We'll make a great nation. On our Sage's Corner, you know, they say a tree does not form a forest. And even when you bring it to our physical understanding of it, you know that when you only have one tree, there's a problem. When you cut all the trees around it, there's a problem. But when there are many, they help us gauge the wind, they help us in a whole lot of, they give us shade and all that. So why don't you grow a tree today just so that we can have a lot of trees? Aside that, it also tells us about unity and the fact that one person, you see, prior back, we are a book. Now, so when it's together, when it bunches together, it's a formidable force. So we don't have to. Adenya, you want to say something?
Yeah, and I just want to say about even our business. Every time in Ghana, we always say what Kofi and Sons Company Limited and all those things. But we can bring it to our business sector where we need to have a lot of corporations and a lot of like collaborations. Mm-hmm. Don't you think that, oh, I want to do it alone, I want to do it alone. Mm. When you die, then your legacy is gone.
It's gone.
So we need to,
exactly.
After the African free trade, we need to come together.
Exactly.
Work. Yeah.
Very beautiful. So no man is an island, basically. Okay. So we need to come together. And then, I mean, as Africans, we are communal in nature. We are not individualistic. I mean, everybody has a home. We have a people. We have an identity. So we need to be able to, I mean, come together and do what we have to do. As Africans, as anywhere you find yourself. We are doing this in collaboration with the National Folklore Board, and we are sponsored by Downwell Insurance. If it must be done, it must be done well. Thank you so much for joining us for today for our Folkloric Symbol Show. My name is Belkis Jiwa, and I'll see you next time.